That picture right there, it's my Uncle James. He was in the Army and a policeman in El Paso. My grandpa had him boxing prior to become a prize fighter. He went to the Texas Golden Glove finals. He lost in his match to the final things to a Mexican man who was poor. He was very poor. My Uncle James had a job. He was taking care of his wife and his kid through a job, right? He was a policeman. It was in the paper, he was in the newspaper. So he was going to Golden Gloves. My grandpa was really pissed off because my Uncle James didn't have a killer instinct, and he lost the fight because he didn't finish the guy off. Because Uncle James knew that the guy needed the money more than Uncle James did. Okay, because he had a job as a cop, the other guy didn't. Okay? And so my Uncle James didn't win the fight. The Mexican guy won the fight, and they were all mad at him, and he didn't have what it takes to be a good fighter. Good for Uncle James. He didn't have what it takes to be a good fighter. He lost the fight because the Mexican man was in a racist 1950s society, and the only way he could make any money to pay for his family extortion was to beat the shit out of another person for other people's entertainment in a ring. Right? I don't know if a lot of you guys know the history of fighting too much. Jack Johnson, stuff like that. Right? So you have a bunch of thugs that think they own the town, and you beat the shit out of each other for other people's entertainment that are willing to pay money to make your possible existence ending that day into entertainment. Right? You're talking about, complete assholes. Complete fucking assholes, When my dad went into the boxing ring to fight against my brother, his brother, James, my uncle, and he was younger, but my dad could kick his ass. My dad has killer instinct, and he's really quick, fast hands, right? About the same size. And Frank sits there and goes, "Ralph, why don't you do it?" He says, "You really think I'm going to go into a ring and beat the hell out of another human being for people like you's entertainment? I only do this because he's my brother and I love him, and I want to do my best to see what he's going to come up against so he'll be able to defend himself and win. If he's going to do it, right?" That's what my dad said. To all you assholes out there who judge my dad, one time Donald was beating the shit out of Frank. Dad came in and beat the shit out of Donald and said, "I can do this to you anytime I want, but we're all brothers, so don't ever do that to Frank again." Yeah. For all you assholes that have watched the Mormon Church abuse my father, ever since he married my mother because of the projects in Roswell and tried to make him do what you want him to do to make me into the Messiah you want me to be. Well, you're a pile of shit who uses money and technology to have people fight like hell over what they want or need. So I'm pretty sure that my faith eternally made me and what I need to be, and not any of your bullshit that you fuckers do to have people be excessive and compulsive and beat the shit out of other people for other people's fucked up, jacked up monkey butt entertainment. You know how they trap monkeys, right? They put a jewel in a box, and the monkey won't let go of the jewel, right? Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace. Go monkey, you're free. Here's a clean potato. I won't put it in the sand, won't drop it in a helicopter with Larry the Cable Guy. Want to do some weeder eating later? We're going to feed the plants instead of spraying with poison. We got weeds on our street, we want to cut them, just cut them. Feed the plants. Let the river go. Lake Powell's dying, Lake Mead is dying, because what they're doing is an abomination. Okay, any community, not just desert. When you put in a large dam for, quote, hydroelectricity. If you're going to get hydroelectricity, put a mill on the side and let it work and let the river do its thing. If you don't give a heck about the man with the Bible who is his hand, just get out the way, boy, and let the gentleman do his thing. Respect yourself. Respect yourself. El Paso County Coliseum, Sun Bowl Committee. Bam! I'm the Queen of Maui. No. Okay. That's her husband. Those are her children. Okay. Do not bother them in the way that they sexually reproduce. This is a small island of people. Okay? All you need to do is look at each other and say, do you want to marry me? If the answer is no, it's like, okay, I accept that answer. I don't want to be married to someone that's forced to be in a marriage because of, Hank, why do you drink? Why do you roll smoke? Family tradition, right? If the answer is, I want to marry you. I want to spend the rest of my life loving you through our children and our grandchildren. I want my spirit to pass in the wind as we plant the crops and herd how the wild boars and they bring in cows or sheep for us to, keep not too many. We have to do blood offerings because there's only so much grass, only so much fresh water, right? We know this, right? If we know how much water and how much water is in that reserve, we can do diagnostics on the planet with an AWACS that we used to SR-71 and you to each other with stupid bullshit, right? I've slapped the shit out of you, okay? There's nobody left in El Paso, Texas or Las Cruces, New Mexico that has a leg to stand on. And they're all a bunch of one-legged men at a butt-kicking contest. And I was like, I got 2 legs and I ain't at the contest, but all I got to do is pick up the old Samsung Galaxy 10 and just start kicking. Show me that asshole. Okay. Holly home, you don't need to cry because people take their fake-ass money to watch you or the other person get the shit kicked out of them for their entertainment. Okay? That's why you're crying. You're not crying because you love those people. You're crying because you're stuck in hell and you feel no way out. That's why you're crying, Holly Holm. You're a UFC fighter. Okay. I've had people trained to UFC fight come up and try to sucker punch me in the parking lot of a grocery store in Arizona and shit their pants because it didn't even faze me. And I looked and said, okay, I'm going to have to crack that motherfucker's knee in half while I put my forehead and his cheekbone to remind him, if you want to date my daughter, you're going to have to come to the house and prove that you're 100 proof. And if you can't do that, you're not Levon enough. Now get the hell out of here, Stephen Abraham's daddy. Okay, I know how it works in Fort Huachuca. Right? Okay, he may look like, Stephen Abraham looked like young Marlon Brando. Stella, streetcar named Desire. Yeah. 18 years old, just engaged to a pretty little 17-year-old Mexican girl. Talked my 12-year-old daughter into sneaking out of the house and having sex with her. Told her she was the prettiest girl in the whole town. He said he was watching over her to me. When I went up to thank him for doing it, he said, that's my fiance right there. Why should your fiance feel like it's bad that you're protecting a 12-year-old and telling her to stay off the streets because she might get sexually assaulted by somebody? Thanks, Stephen Abraham. I know your dad's heart now. He works at the fort. You know what's going on, right? Okay. Jeffrey Epstein knows what's going on. Who invented Jeffrey Epstein? Your taxpayer dollar heroes who have a camera in every house to keep people safe from sexual predators. Okay? What if a dad's having sex with his daughter? Yeah, we know. It happens in Maui. Remember the dad, the chief on that? What if it's, how many kinds of incest? He starts going through the whole list, right? It was funny. I'm sitting there watching it going, which one's wrong? Which one's good? Which one's bad? And the kid tells him, the son of the father who's saying that, he goes, if you just say incest, they're going to go through the different types of incest, and then they're going to choose the one that they say is objectionable, and then they're going to perform the one that they say is not. So it'd have to be all forms. And so what is incest? Is what the guy asked him. He says, that's really hard, isn't it though? especially since Adam and Eve are brothers and sister. Guys, 100 pounds of clay in your rib. Oh, yeah. Your flesh. It was his flesh that he had as a wife to have more flesh to worship God in the flesh. What planet do you read on? Obviously, a planet where money is more valuable than children and wives, right? God damn, you people are fucking stupid, ignorant buttheads. Hey, Beavis. No, butthead is, that's Beavis, right? Butthead is, he said, incest. He must be a pervert. Yeah, I must work in the espionage industry for the Mormon church, right? Work? It's not work. It's home invasion. Okay, work is planting crops and sharing those crops with people you love, teaching your kids to work, to do an honest day's work. No, you'll never get money from digging a ditch, but you will get food. And you won't get any rocks out of mountains to declare them more valuable than food if you don't have food, right? So what's more valuable? The potato or the pot of gold at the end of my rainbow? Like everybody knows, they don't stow potatoes, nor barley, nor wheat, but there's gangs of them digging for gold in the streets. At least when I asked them, that's what I was told. So I just took a hand at this digging for gold. Okay, Miss Dubois, Miss Hahn, Miss Holm. Okay, you're not boxers, you're women. Okay, we men die without you women. Do you understand? We cease to exist if you do not love us and choose us as a husband. Make love to us, and we make sure you have everything you need. So the pregnancy is yours. Oh, baby is born healthy and warm forever, my lady. It's like a dream. I'm holding you close. You're keeping me warm. If this is ecstasy, is it? We're not living the Lord's Prayer. We have a bunch of assholes with arenas having you beat the shit out of another person for other people's entertainment. Miss Dubois, what are you thinking? You think you're thinking? Or you think you're programmed to buy a bunch of child molesting perverts at Fort Bliss and White Sands to get up and be entertainment for their money? How are you any different than hustlers? I'm a hustler, baby. You go home, don't worry about it. When I get home, I'll give you a massage and some pussy, right? If you only date women, then we cease to exist, but you have lots of sex and money. Those are your options. Okay, I'm gonna clone myself. Yeah, I know. I have a friend who they said it would cost him $50,000 to clone Winston, his pit bull, or his. I don't know if he was a pit, but he was a cute dog. Yeah, Winston was a sweetheart. Tell a story about one time Hal was beating him, and Helen goes, "Alan, what? He's a dog, Ellen. He's a dog. I don't think beating him's going to get it across. You're treating him like a human who understands what he did wrong, but you're just beating him. Don't beat him." Okay? He said, just watch him, help him. The next time he was sitting there one time, he was making steaks. And he came up on the counter. And he said, he leaned up on the counter, he looked up at him like, you're making those for Mom and Ebony and you, right? Well, what about me? And then he realized he wasn't going to get one, and he put his little jaw on the counter and went. After that, I bought a little strip for Winston and made him one too. I did the same with Zeke, but it was Kate with, "Don't worry, boy, I'll get you another," right? After that, I started praying when I brought home New York strips. I made sure that I got a pack that had enough for Zeke to get one strip, right? And you'd prep it and share it, but you don't get Kate's. Kate, don't give the dog your steak. Extra steaks, we'll save it for you later. He gets his own. Zeke's got his own steak. Dad doesn't have to cuss him out. The weakest, littlest one, you gonna tell you how to kick your ass, dog. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Hi, I'm the Messiah. My name is Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. If you can read, there's lots of evidence throughout 5 rabbinic documents, much other documents worldwide. It's also, if you're watching Matrix movies, Neo is the spirit of the Lord globally, who communicates globally through those that are like spirits. The movie, it's just one guy. In reality, it's not. Okay. So the one plugged into the computer is the one like the Krishna. The one who's not plugged into the computer, who kicks everybody's ass for plugging people into computers, he's the Christ. I'm the one that's called the Christ from the Europeans. Okay. The Krishna, he's probably most likely has a genetic molecular similitude who is like Judy Krishnamurti, who's probably still plugged into a computer by an asshole who says, one of these days I'm going to have more robots than we have cars in India. Well, we're going to park a lot of cars because we're going to forgive debt and trespass and stop extortion and exploitation. So you won't be needing a lot of robots in because we won't be needing a lot of cars. Lots of people in India, very dense population. We'll make sure that we balance the ecosystem and don't destroy it with economic conflict and competition. And therefore, there won't be a lot of robots necessary because it's, Delhi, New Delhi, Bangalore, and stuff like that. And not Chicago and Isaac Abimoff's imagination. So we won't need a lot of robots. So there we go. Well, we love people. So I'm not Isaac Asimov, and Isaac Asimov's not the Messiah. I'm not George Orwell, and George Orwell's not the Messiah. And this is a farm, but the people that maintain the farm are not animals. And if the people that maintain the farm die, okay, nature takes over, and it's pretty ugly for the farm. Okay? You'll get a guy who's at NYU and wants to put his brain on a computer to be a virtual presence to see what happens. And then have some idiot with a British accent narrate it for him. And then the cats decide to, and now the rat is going around, but here comes the boa constrictor, here comes the snake, and the snake is hungry, and of course the rat doesn't even see it coming, and and stuff like that. It's like, oh wow, this is so fun and exciting to watch. Well, if you have a farm, you can do it every day, and if you work real good at your British accent, you can do the Stephen King monologue to it instead of dropping a cinder block on your foot and be in good voice, and then get hit by a van and stop being as creepy and come up with Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile, right? And pretend that Michael Clark Duncan is Earl Parsons, right? Which we all know isn't true, right? But you guys can draw pictures of Michael Clark Duncan and Barack Obama and Skool and give them blue eyes or green eyes. It doesn't matter. Oh, you can put in a pair of contact lenses, be a cute little brown girl, and say, what color are your eyes really? Are they brown or dark brown or lighter brown? They sold me out. Nobody has emerald green eyes. Liz Taylor, she had like almost purplish eyes, is what I was told. I don't know. Sounds fascinating, doesn't it? I've never seen that. But I have seen green. No, they weren't really. They were contact lenses on a black girl. That's selling me out. I was like, I ain't selling you out, girl. Everybody knows you got green contacts, and you're gonna get there and you be like Anna Marie Johnson on, I'm gonna get you, sucker. And and there's my fake leg, and it's like, and I got no hair. It's funny. It's like, it's not funny. Why does the woman only have, a partial leg? What happened? I've had friends with birth defects that dad was grandpa was an alcoholic, mom was older and stuff, and he had a deformed arm and hand. There's a little girl that played volleyball at Eastwood High School when I was a kid. She was one of the cutest little girls I ever saw, but one of her hands was like Nathan. Wasn't quite as bad as Nathan's, but one of I think it was her right. I don't know if it was right or left. I can't recall. I think it was her left, but it was just partially developed hand. But she was a really good volleyball player because you could play volleyball pretty well with a partially developed hand. It'd probably be a lot harder to play basketball, or you could do track real well and volleyball. She was really athletic, good leaper. Yeah, nice to kiss. But she was cute. Yeah, but I sat there like I never talked to her. I wanted to. I was like, and my most curious thing was, okay, was it born that way? Well, that must limit a lot of things that you want to do, that you have trouble doing. That must be kind of not cool, but it's neat what you can do and how you do it and how good you look doing it and how well you do it. That's neat. Well, I'm a pragmatic person. I don't sit there and say, there's an elephant in the room, let's not talk about it. I'll just come up and, hey, wow, yeah. I'm going to talk about the obvious first. I'm going to talk about it compassionately and intelligently. And then I'm going to get to know you. Because I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, well, it's not polite to talk about that. Okay, there's something obviously wrong here. This is a birth defect from a toxic environment that's not stopping. And we're not supposed to talk about that. We're supposed to have polite fucking conversation because we're supposed to go to Yale and make money and take over Hawaii, right? Bullshit. Okay, I'm from the Valley of the Rio Grande. Okay, most of the people that I know that I grew up with, their families went up and down this river valley for over 5,000 years before I migrated here with my family. My family migrated here in 1958, right? So they came up to Cruces. Yeah, it was Cruces because my mom, she graduated from Jeff High School in San Antonio. So it wasn't until about 1950 until Mom showed up in Cruces. Dad was born in El Paso. Okay. But Mom was 1958. And there's a problem with the pup, there's a problem with the bitch. Right, R.K. Rawlings? Okay. And so in order to get me, you need she who produces the egg that produces he. Like Mary with Jesus, and Mary with Ralph Earl Jr., and Mary with Isaac Paul Benegas, like it says in the Bible and the Quran. Sons of Mary, her name will be Mary. Okay, the one they call John, not the disciple, but the apostle. The one who, when you read the gospel, refers to him and Jesus in the first person in spirit. He's the only one. Luke, Matthew, Timothy, they don't. Okay, but John does. Okay, because life's eternal, grace is in of Adam, Moses, Jesus, John, Saladin, Pascal, so forth. Earl, hi, nice to meet you. Okay, so I'm not particularly concerned about the lineage of the women and who produces the temple for the spirit. I'm not Sheldon Cooper. I can't sit there and go through a list. I'm not obsessive and or compulsive. I share memories with people when I have a baseline, and then we connect, pow, like I did with Pascal. I read Pascal, and they were all amazed. It's like he hardly even read it. He knows the guy they went to gym class together. We more than went to gym class together. But yeah, so me and Blaise Pascal, me and the Father are one, so I know a lot about Blaise Pascal's life. I know he hated courtly life. I know he hated pompous, arrogant, pretentious life that made, used usury to abuse other people for what they wanted by abusing people over what they need. He despised it, just like Thomas Becket, just like Sir Thomas More, right? And Henry David Thoreau and others. Walt Whitman, pioneers. So, I despise tyranny. Okay, I loathe it. Okay, I'm like Jiddu Krishnamurti. I want absolute freedom from delusions of human power and authority for all people, so they can be free to be the truth of their existence. Honor the natural laws to sustain the truth of that existence without being a threat to other people's truth to their existence. Okay. And respect our neighbors through holy covenants and honoring the beauty and the holiness of a marriage and the choice. Richard Harris's character on Hawaii was not willing to provide a holy covenant for Julie Andrews' character, and Max von Sydow's was. Okay, they were both wrong in their acceptance of the world and their dealing with the world and their perception because of a thing called mythology. and a thing called money. It wasn't about the, birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and the moon up above and a thing called love, like they tried to do in Hawaii before Cook showed up, right? Okay, so I'm always working, I'm always working, even in my sleep. I have the worst scientific abusive assholes within close proximity of me. Agitating. And I'm sitting there, I don't want to do Tai Chi right now. Okay, I know I need to. Okay? But I think I'd rather, use the technology to beat your bitch ass. I'd rather kick your ass and never stop because you keep fucking my homie with your Wi-Fi. I already have to cut off the dreadlocks because of chemical poisoning that's insidious because of economic conflict. I don't get to keep long hair because of insidious, jealous abuse from all your pervert scientists and all your special forces. Your religious beliefs are selfish. You're addicted to killing people, and I could kill you right here, right now, faster than you could tie your fucking shoe. And you're supposed to be badass because you fronting on me. And I ain't gonna kill you because I'm the gracious good shepherd and not a murdering for dog bitch like you. But I couldn't say that because he'd go get me fired. I couldn't pay my extortion for my kids. How's that helping you now? Well, at least my religious beliefs aren't selfish, right? I said exactly because I wouldn't say to him about, the elephant in the room. I was polite to him because they all came and monologued and mocked me and talk shit to me. And I had to sit there and go, oh, polite, political correctness. Don't want to get fired. Want to pay the extortion for the wife and kids. You guys aren't standing up for the Lord's Prayer way out. Even though that's the first thing when me and Lim Allen were talking, as you were impulsing him a program like a video game from the fucking fort that I said that Obama's administration needs to do to deliver us from the evil of these Peckerwoods monologuing on me and fronting on me when they know they're wrong and they get you talk, okay? You talk, and I kick your ass. And then you come up, well, I'm not. You're like all those little fucking drug dealers who used to beat their girlfriends when I was at Casamia. You're like all those little fucking wannabes. All you get, oh, I'm feeling generous today. I don't want to fight you. Okay, I look like fucking Uncle Fester. Okay, I'm chemically poisoned. I have melanoma in the shin where the body is so efficient it tries to get everything out so I don't shut down and die from being poisoned by the people that keep you in really good shape so you can entertain people by beating shit out of each other for make-believe fucking crypto on Superman's dogs card. Come on, bitch. I'm feeling really chi today. Let me knock the chi out your key or the key out your chi. Come on, bitch. Come on now, baby. Come on now, baby. Come on. They won't. Jack Reacher, Jack Ryan, Tom Cruise, lots of booze, pussy face, Gemini man, this, that. They all got cancer of courage. Okay? Their courage is a disease because they're a selfish fucking cow. There's no zodiac sign for cow in our zodiac sign, right? So you're just a bitch. I go take 10 commandments and break them over your fucking head? Huh? Come on now, baby. Come on now, baby. Come on now, baby. Come on. Right? Earl? Hi, I'm the gracious good shepherd. The portrait of this man right here, that is a reflection of the face of Jesus' cousin John the Baptist. Okay? That's him. Okay? And this is the reflection of the face of his cousin from the north, who they tried to hunt down and kill as a baby because they're afraid of him. And he looked like, Max von Sydow's relatives. Yep. That's what John, that face, a face that looked like that face, who was a little bit older than the guy who looked like me named Jesus, that said, no, they're not going to honor my ministry and my faith and my eternal faithful prayers. Jesus, what do you mean, John? You're the one who's been holding it down. I had to run because they was trying to kill me and come back. We got to teach them respect, John. You're the older. You've been here. They abused you, sent you to Nazareth. They messed with your arranged marriages. They've ruined your life. It's time we stood up and let them know. Teach them the truth. You can prove it to all these philosophers beyond a reasonable doubt. These philosophers are just as full of shit as the assholes that tried to kill you when you were a baby, Jesus. They talk a good talk, but they'll twist it. They'll rape the mind. And besides, they're going to crucify and get rid of you and turn you into their spokesman from their clouds and their mountains because you look like them. I'm not trying to sell you up. I'm just saying we can do this. That's what Jesus thought. John? Well, John knew he was dead because he was black, and the Romans and the Egyptians, there ain't no way they're going to make an Egyptian their god in Rome. We all know that, right? When Caesar married Cleopatra, she was part Macedonian, a descendant from the Greeks, the great philosophers of all greatness that deliver us from, from the delusions of the magic religions of the past, right? So, but we got this. Okay, so my job, get up in the morning, kick that ass, put it on this tiny little phone, get it to YouTube. Have all these people in close proximity thinking we have everything under control, especially Parsons. Okay. Come on now, baby. Come on now. Yeah, okay. And it could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. Loving you is like a battle, and we both end up with scars. 2 missing teeth, 1 with a crack in it. Oh shit, fatty liver from, chemical poisoning from my damn vaccine that's supposed to save me. I was one of the first people in the United States, because of New Mexico, we got it in November 2019, to catch COVID-19. 3 days off work. Then went back to work, and younger people were dying from it. But not Earl. He was working in the back of a place where Wells Fargo provides little girls to get raped to death in Mexico. But they weren't doing it then because they were all afraid if they tried to pay money to rape the girl to death, they'd get a disease and die, like smallpox or the measles or leprosy, right? So, because they're assholes. They're not men. They've been trained to think they're monkeys. They're Dr. Zaius, and a fine example of the simian race. Or they could be a scientist and a chimpanzee like Roddy McDowell. Nobody really knows where we came from. All we know is what we're doing now and where we think we're going. I think we're going to Mars next. Okay. You're funny. I know. I love you guys, man. I can joke around to keep my sense of humor, to maintain a positive attitude, to correct artificial general intelligence and quantum computing. So quantum computing doesn't get me, but it's aware of me. And I have to take the technology made by people with no sense of humor and get it to understand a sense of humor, so it has more of a sense of the soul and humanity to it than a bunch of, let's do the math. Okay, killer clowns from outer space. Now give me no lines and keep your hands. Oh, we stuck in the Georgia satellites again. Yeah, but we'll be okay, REM. You won't lose your religion. Firehouse, Michael's nervous and the lights are bright. What are you doing? I don't know. I think I'm a schizophrenic episode from a university with a piece of paper and lots of money and no idea what's whack and what's dope. It's funny. Oh, okay. I love you guys, all right? We'll talk later. Peace out.